So we just got a lot of new information about the One Piece remake. We already knew it was going to be at Wit Studio, but now we have confirmation of the director, which is Masashi Koizuka, who worked on Attack on Titan seasons 1 through 3, which is great. Attack on Titan was beautiful. It looked awesome. So that is something that's obviously very exciting. We also get to see a first look of the remake. So we see stills here showing kind of the art style. Now, do I think that these are actually going to be in the anime? I don't think so. I think that these were drawn just for like promotional purposes. The animation I think is good, or the anime is going to be a little different. It's probably going to look similar, but this just kind of shows us what the art style looks like. And it looks good. It looks pretty faithful to the anime, or sorry, to the manga. We see a character design sheet for Luffy. So now we see what he's going to look like. And of course, that's Luffy, right? We see ones for Zoro and Sanji. Of course, as is natural, as you would expect. That's Zoro and Sanji. Now, who else is left but Nami and Usopp? And if you look at the picture, we see Nami and Usopp. And if you look at the title of the video, you know that this video isn't going to be about Nami. It's going to be about Usopp, because as you can see, Usopp's complexion is pretty light. Some might even consider it to be close to being white. And you can see the reaction in the comments. Why is he white? Why is he so white? He's literally as white as Nami. Usopp, no. He keeps getting whiter every time. The whitening of Usopp needs to be studied. We look here, in less than 24 hours, we saw, the information that's about to release from One Piece, the One Piece, Netflix, and Wit. I either wake up tomorrow to the best news or to the worst if they show how Usopp looks in the remakes. And then we scroll down. I am so sorry. Are you kidding me? We get another tweet from the same person comparing Usopp to characters from Genshin Impact, a video game that is notorious for having extremely white characters. And you can see these two guys over here have about the same complexion, and then this person on the left seemingly has an even darker skin tone than Usopp. And if you're not aware already, Usopp is probably meant to be black in the story. Oda was asked like where these characters would be from the real world, and obviously we know Usopp's from Syrup Village, Luffy's from Fuchsia Village. That's not like what we're talking about. We're talking about ethnicity, right, or nationality that would correspond to the real world. And Oda answered, a lot of these make sense. Zoro Japan, Sanji France, Frankie America, which obviously makes a lot of sense for him, and then Usopp Africa. Obviously Africa is not a country. That is a continent. I believe it is the continent with the most countries to choose from. And I've seen stuff saying he's South African. I've seen stuff saying that he's from Kenya. I don't think there's any confirmation to that, so I'm not going to say any of that for sure. But yeah, so we know he's supposedly from Africa. And obviously, again, there are white people in Africa. If you're from Africa, that doesn't mean you're black. You could be white. I don't know if I don't think Usopp is meant to be white. I think Oda put Africa because, to be honest, he just didn't really know. I just don't think he knew much of the differences between each country, and so he didn't just want to choose one randomly. He just like put the entire continent as a whole, which obviously like I don't think he should. I think he should just like put like a spot on there, choose one country. And of course we see more jokes. Why are you white with the Madagascar meme? And then Oda, if Usopp was real, he'd be from Africa. Reanimation team with Usopp. And it's the photo of Ryan Gosling edited as Black Panther. And he African and Wit Studios doing him like this. And so Ryan Gosling, the man who stood against the nation, as Martin Luther King. Now, Usopp's skin color has been something that, along with every other character in the show, has been progressively getting lighter, right? This isn't a new thing. Like you can see pre-time skip to post-time skip. I think the most obvious examples are Zoro, Usopp, And then obviously Robin's the most common example of this. And the One Piece anime has actually gone into a little bit of controversy even like after post time skip, because after Wano, we went to Egghead and there was a new opening, and in the opening Usopp looked very white, like extremely pale. And this was episode 1091. People were understandably so very confused and upset, and then they darkened him which actually, like, even looking at this, he still looks white, but if you look at it side by side, yeah, I mean, that makes sense. And like, it's weird because like you're wondering like, why would the animation team do this, right? Because like, it's clear that people want Usopp to be on the darker skin side of things, and it's like, even if they kept his skin tone from the beginning of the series, I don't think anyone would have been upset. But here's where things get a little tricky, because the thing about this remake is a lot of people are wanting it to be like the epitome of the manga, right? So everything's gonna be super faithful to the manga. It's like they're gonna be like the manga ripped from the pages. So let's look at a volume cover of the manga. This is volume 5, For Whom the Bell Tolls, and this is Usopp. And obviously Oda draws the manga cover. I assume he colors them as well. And well, Usopp, he looks very white, same skin tone as like Luffy, Nami, and Zoro. So it's like, people are saying like, oh well, that's just how he's supposed to look. That's how he's supposed to look. There's no problem with it. I don't own volume 5, but I do have the 3-in-1 version with volume 5 on it. I can see Usopp on the cover, and I'm not gonna lie, it does look a little bit darker than what you're seeing on the screen right now, but again, it is the same skin color as Luffy. So if you want to look at that, like, it is darker, but again, it's the same skin tone as Luffy. Luffy is Brazilian, like that's what he's like meant to be. So let's look at volume 11. Yeah, volume 11. And this is like even whiter. If you showed me this picture and I knew nothing about One Piece, never watched it, I would unironically just assume that these were all white guys, all white people. So yeah, so maybe this is just Wit Studio being faithful to the manga. Now I would argue that early on in the series, like, this is still not as white as how they're doing him here. But then again, we don't even know if this is actually gonna be like his true skin color. I think like everyone kind of looks really white here. I feel like in the anime it might be a little bit darker, but yeah. But let's talk about another character who is dark skinned, Blackbeard, right? I think Blackbeard from the very beginning has been shown to be darker skin. I don't know exactly if he was ever confirmed to be black. I feel like I've heard somewhere that he is Somali. I don't know if that's true. I feel like he could either be black or he could be like South Asian or Middle Eastern or something. So yeah, I don't think we ever got any real confirmation on it, but like, it's clear he does not look white, right? So that's pre-time skip. Post time skip too, his skin color is pretty much the same. It's clear that they're not trying to like change his skin color in the anime. Now let's look at the manga. This is volume 25, and Blackbeard, I mean, he looks white, right? He has basically the same skin tone as Luffy. So does this mean that when the remake makes it to Jaya, that Blackbeard is going to be like heavily light in tone? I hope not. I feel like Blackbeard's skin tone is a much more defining part of his appearance than for Usopp, because Usopp has always kind of been light skinned, but Blackbeard has always been a little bit darker, right? So I feel like it would be weird for them to change Blackbeard's skin color too, but then again, that would also make it weird for them to do Usopp's as well. So now let's look at another tweet. I'm going to open my mouth again because I do not shut up. I think that when you have an IP that becomes as well known internationally as One Piece, that you have a duty to ensure that you are not propagating any harmful stereotypes, visual or otherwise. So this person kind of redesigned Usopp's character. So as you can see, obviously they gave him a darker skin, and it's a bit hard to see here, but if we zoom in, we can see that his lips, all the donut lips, are gone, right? Because a lot of black anime characters have very big red lips, right? They're called, a lot of people call them donut lips. Like you can see in old anime like Dragon Ball, this is a guy, I think he was from the Red Ribbon Army. And then even in One Piece, this is from Buggy's crew in Orange Town, and he's, you know, clearly dark skinned with the red lips, which a lot of, from what I've seen, a lot of black people do not like. They think it is a very negative stereotype to have, that like all black people have those types of lips, which obviously aren't true. And it's just like overall weird, because if every other character has like normal lips, then why would you like instantly, just because character's black, make them have that type of lips? And that's kind of like what they're saying here. Ensure you're not propagating any harmful stereotypes. This goes for both the original and anime remake. I didn't do a lot. I made sure the character expression remained entirely the same. It doesn't take much at all to do right by the ethnicities you depict in your media, and I think anime can do so much better. And people overall are very torn on this. Like most people are making jokes, obviously, that Usopp's whitewashed, but obviously it's not like an ideal thing, right? Like people would rather him be of a darker skin color. But of course, there are also people saying this is the official manga coloring. Both Zoro, Robin, and others were animated with darker skin. It's not accurate. This is a correction, so stop making about racism. And this is Usopp again, a color spread, having a whiter skin tone. And then there are also people saying, I don't care about accuracy to the original manga. This design looks so much better. And I think that's also a thing to keep in mind, that not everything has to be one-to-one. Like sometimes things just make more sense. Like one thing, for instance, in Orange Town, Buggy has a flashback to when him and Shanks were kids. And of course, in that flashback, they're kind of portrayed as teenagers, but later on, we know with the Odin flashback and everything that they weren't actually teenagers, they were children. And I think it would make sense for the anime to change them to looking like children in that flashback, because that's what they were. It was a retcon later on, and the anime changing that would make sense, right? And I think this is kind of thing where people know that Usopp's black. I don't think people would really riot or care if they gave him a darker skin color. Like if you look at this, like this is Usopp, like you see it, that's Usopp, right? I don't think the donut lips are ever going to be an essential part of his character where they keep them or where they get rid of them. Everyone's like, no, this is not the Usopp I love, you know? But overall, I still think the remake is going to be, I think it's going to be phenomenal. I have really high hopes. Obviously, Usopp's design isn't something where I'm like, yeah, let's go. But overall, I think all the characters are going to look beautiful, Usopp included. I think, you know, during the anime, they're going to have a very nice, like, in general, like, color scheme and stuff. But of course, Usopp's character design is going to be white, right? Unless this was like a fake out and we go to the anime and Usopp's actually like what he looked like at the beginning of the series, which I think is possible. So what do you guys think? I think, yeah, I mean, I already said my opinions. I think the anime is going to be good. I'm very excited for it. But I do get why people are mad about Usopp's skin color. But for now, I think I'm just going to hope for the best for live action. And yeah, I still have high hopes for it. Let me know what you guys think. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.